We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Dalet Amud Aleph from Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 34a. On the previous summit, the Gemara had a case where a person said, "What are you doing on this land? This land is my land." And the person said, "I bought this land from you, and I've been here long enough to establish a chazaka." And he had one witness that indeed he had been there long enough to establish a chazaka. And the Rabbanan who were in front of Abaya, they thought to say that this was the same as the case of the Naschad Rabbi Abba. And the Gemara is now explaining the case of the Naschad Rabbi Abba. The case was that a person said that you stole from me, he said to another individual, you stole from me a nascha, a piece of metal, and he said this in front of Rabbi Ami, and Rabbi Abba was present as well, and he brought one witness to that effect, that this person indeed snatched from him this nascha, and the person said, it's true, I did in fact take this nascha away from you, however I took it away because it's really mine. And so Rabbi Ami said, how should a judge this particular case? L'shalim, so if you're going to say that he has to pay for the nascha that he stole, so leka trei sahadi, so there aren't two witnesses against him, there's only one witness that even says that he took it. And then you could also say lifterei, you should say he should be totally exempt, but there is one witness against him. And then you'll say l'shtaba, let him take an oath, ha'amar michtaf chatfa, but he's the one that is saying that he actually stole it, he's admitting that he took it. V'kevan do'amar dechatvan, if he's admitting that he took it from the other individual, havale kegazlan, so that turns him into a gazlan, and a gazlan is not able to take a shvuah, so we don't really have a solution in this situation. And the Rashbam over here explains, heichi l'dainua daini l'haidina, how do we judge this case? She'ilu hayushnayim idem oso shechotaf. Now, if two people had testified that he took it, hayinu mechayven oso l'shalim, then we would make him pay, even though he's saying that yes, he took it and it was his. That doesn't matter. She'ein adam nemon lachtof dover miyad chaveiro v'lomar shali anichot. If a person is not believed to snatch something from his friend and say what I'm taking is mine, ela imkein yesh lo edem, unless he actually has witnesses. Tahamin maman al cheskaso, because the general rule is wherever the money is, it stays in that possession. We assume it's that person's. If this person was a muchzak, another person can't just come and take it without evidence, and so therefore the fact that he's saying that I took it, yes, I did take it and it was mine, that doesn't mean anything. But we are now again in a situation over here where we don't know what to do, because there's one witness, and one witness should say that he has to take an oath, but he can't take an oath because again he's admitting that he took it, so essentially he's admitting that he's a gazlan. And so the Gemara continues, Zamar le Rabbi Abba said to him, have a mechuyev shavua she'eno yachol ishava. The case over here is a situation where he's chayiv to take an oath that he's not able to take. Anyone who is chayiv to take an oath that he's not able to take, mashalim, he has to pay. And so therefore this person who snatched this nascha, he is going to have to pay for it. And so the Gemara is suggesting that this idea that a person who's not able to take a shvuah will have to pay should apply over here as follows. The Rashbam explains, v'hachanami, in our case as well, where the person is saying he has a chazaka and he has one witness that is testifying that it's a chazaka. We should be able to apply the same exact idea. If there would have been two witnesses that he was there for the years to establish a chazaka, so then the buyer would be able to keep the property. Let's say there were no witnesses, that he was there enough time to establish a chazaka. Mafkin and lamine, so then we would take the land away from him. Umhadrin and lamar, we would return it to the original owner. Now, if there's just one witness that says that he was there for the 3 years, so then we should in theory say l'shtaba, he should take an oath. De'ed echad l'shvua come, because one aid generally says that somebody has to take a shvua. Afilu lo have a kark, even if it was not land, lo mashbi'in and lay, but we wouldn't actually make him take the shvua in this situation. It's a kind of situation where he should be taking a shvuah, but he cannot. We're not going to make him take the shvuah al maida aset saada, on that which the aid is testifying to lo kafarle, because in this situation he's not denying what the aid says. Generally speaking, when you take a shvuah in a situation of aid echad, you're essentially taking a shvuah against what the aid is saying. But in this case, the aid echad is testifying to something that he agrees with. Elamodile de'achal v'toin in achli v'didi achli. He's admitting that he indeed was on this property for the past 3 years, and he's saying it really does belong to him. He's saying I was on here for 3 years because it's mine, because I bought it from you. And so you have a situation, even if it was not karka, where he wouldn't be able to take the shvuah, even though generally an eid echad makes a person take a shvuah. Here it's karka, so certainly he can't take the shvuah because we don't take a shvuah on land. So it should be a situation where since he's not able to take the shvuah, he has to pay. That's essentially what the Rabbanan in front of Abaya were suggesting. And so the Gemara continues, Amar lahu Abaya. Abaya said back to the Rabbanan in terms of the comparison they were trying to make with this case with the one witness and the land, and the case of the one witness of the Naschad Rabbi Abba. He said, Midami, can you really compare the the two cases. Hasam sahada l'oroe ka'asi, over there, meaning in the case of the Naschad Rabbi Abba, the witness is coming against him, testifying that he's a thief. Kiyasi achrina b'adei, for example, if somebody else would come together with that one witness to make two witnesses, mafkin and lamine, then we take the nascha away from him. But over here in the case of the land, l'siyue kasi, the witness is actually coming to benefit the person who's sitting on the land. He's testifying as a chazaka. And kiyasa achrina, if another witness would come, mukmin and labiyade, we actually would say that he gets to keep the land because he has a chazaka. And so therefore you can't compare the two cases at all. And Abaye says, if you are going to try to make a case by land similar to the case of the Naschad Rabbi Abba, what would be similar? If you want to make a case comparable to the case of Rabbi Abba, that would be lechad sahad if there's one witness uletarti shani, and for 2 years. Let's say one witness came along and testified that he was on the land for 2 years, so that would be testimony against him, ulapiri, because now he's testifying against all that produce that he took for the past 2 years, that he owes that fruit. So that would be exactly that case, where the one witness is saying, you owe the produce for the past 2 years. That is a witness who's testifying against the person who's on the land. He cannot take a shvuah because he's admitting that he was there. He's trying to say that it's really his property, that he bought the property, and so in that situation we would apply the rule of the fact that he's not able to take the shvuah, the fact that he's mechuyev to take the shvuah but cannot take it, he would have to pay. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Dalid Amid Beis.